One of the videos that I posted on my channel was regarding the importance of replacing your supply lines to your washing machine. Now here, I was just going to replace just the supply lines, but unfortunately, when I went to pull the washing machine, you can see here, just over time, the calcium buildup, the rust, the line really just broke off pretty easily. The reason I recommend replacing your supply lines is because at some point, if I had not removed the washer to replace the supply line, at some point this rust, the water pressure coming in, the line would have burst. So just imagine you're not home, you put a load of laundry in and you walk away, the line bursts. Just imagine all the water that would have been all over your floor. Doing something simple like this, replacing your supply lines, can save you a lot of cost and repairs. Unfortunately, while I was doing this, there's so much rust on the inside, I'm not able to remove the end of the supply line. So at this point, I'm going to have to replace the entire hose bib. Now, because I was already in the process of working and replacing the supply line, I was able to turn the water off. Again, you want to be careful. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clamp my vice grips over the end where the nut is. I'm going to use my large heavy duty crescent wrench. I'm going to put it right over and then just start working it so that I can twist it out. Now again, just be very careful when you're doing this. Again, I did have to turn off the main supply coming in. So here we're having the same problem, just all the corrosion, the paint is just very difficult. I'm trying really hard to remove the supply line, so we're gonna have to remove the entire hose bib. At this point you can see just how corroded it is. If the other one was severely corroded, then obviously common sense this is gonna have the same issue. So here I cut the old supply line out. So here I have my vice grips tightened. You can just be careful. You don't want to put too much pressure on the lines or bend the lines. Replace the compression ring for your angle stop or hose bib. There are 3 different methods that you can use. The first one is trying to use your channel locks or vice grips, putting it around the compression ring and trying to slowly work it. You can either use a motion pulling towards you or you can use a twisting motion. The second method is going to be using your pipe cutters. You can see here on this side I do have clearance. So for some reason I was having a difficult time. I would just use my pipe cutters, cut the pipe, and then put the new compression and the new angle stop or hose bib on. However, if you look at this side, it's going to be much more difficult because I don't have clearance. Even if I was to cut out the nut right here, I would still be running the risk of running too close to the wall. The last method, hacksaw and cutting the compression ring. If you're using the channel lock method, you want to be very careful. You just want to kind of slowly wiggle it back and forth, pulling towards you as you do this. Now in theory, if this method works, it's the most preferred method, but it is time consuming and you have to be very careful as you're doing this not to hit the pipe. So really, if you have enough room coming from the wall and the distance to put your pipe cutter, I would recommend that method. It's the easiest method, the fastest method. You can see here, I have my pipe cutter on and I have it tight to the compression ring. When using your pipe cutters, you're just tightening and twisting. You can see here, as you start to twist it, it cuts the pipe. Now that I got it around, I'm going to tighten it some more and then keep using it. You can see here, I did about 3 times turning it and tightening it. You can see it's a nice clean cut. We're going to remove our old nut. On this one, I did try to use the method of my channel locks. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to cut it using my hacksaw. If you have a Dremel, that would also be another preferred method. It's much quicker, but you do have to be careful when you're tapping it not to hit the pipe. You can see here I have the blade in an angle, and this will allow me just to cut it from side to side. As I'm doing this, I have my headlamp so I can see how deep the groove is. Once you get it deep enough where you can see the groove, what I do is I take my screwdriver, my flathead, and I just kind of pry it open. Now you're just going to take your new compression ring and your nut. You're going to put your nut in and you're going to put your compression ring in. As you're tightening it, you just want to make sure that you put it in a position where it's easily accessible to tighten it. Like if I was to put it facing down, it'd be difficult tightening from here. So I like to put it off to the side where I can just get a nice grip and tighten on the new supply lines. You're gonna do the same thing. Put your nut, put your compression ring, and when I put my new angle stop or hose bib, I'm gonna make sure when I put it in that I push it nice and tight against the wall. Now I'm gonna clamp it, and I'll put my vice grip on the bottom, so as I'm twisting it, it'll have some type of support. Obviously, as I'm twisting it, I am holding it. And again here, you can see I put it in the opposite direction, so when I'm putting on my hot side and my cold side, they're not hitting each other. Make sure both of your valves are in the off position. I'm going to turn our water supply on and check for leaks. If this video was a help, if it was informational, please subscribe.